how can we be successful at NoFap? So for me, I wouldn't actually consider myself to be a follower of the NoFap, the whole NoFap thing. What I personally practice is semen retention and conscious sexuality, which I've been doing for several years now. I've been into, I first got into yoga, meditation, these kinds of things, qigong, and eventually I sort of came across the notion that as a man, our sperm power is really our personal power, and it's ours to do what we want with. We can contain it and energize ourselves with its power. It's immense power, the power to create life. Or we can just toss it into the world around us, carelessly, and slowly deplete our life force. So the key issue here, I think, is trying to completely suppress your sexuality, your sexual desire, your sexual activity. It's possible to be sexually active, to have sex, to masturbate, whatever, without ejaculating. And you can still have orgasms. There's different types of orgasm. Orgasm and ejaculation are two entirely different things. So for me, the issue is not sexuality in itself, but rather unconscious sexuality. Looking at porn and just ejaculating regularly, these are very unhealthy things. But in my opinion, balanced, healthy sex, and maybe even masturbation, is not necessarily an unhealthy thing, provided it's done in a balanced and loving manner, and you're not using porn or things like that, and you're not ejaculating all the time. So if you're going into, like, say you're trying the NoFap thing, if you're going into it with this mindset of, okay, I'm never going to ejaculate again in my life, I'm not masturbating ever again, maybe I'm not having sex ever, you're just setting yourself up for failure, really, because eventually you're going to ejaculate at some point, whether it's in a wet dream, which happens as you build up this sperm and this reserve of semen energy, or rather maybe after a year of not masturbating or anything, and then you have the opportunity to have sex with a partner, and then you haven't been working on your sexual patterns and things like this, so you go straight back to your old unconscious sexual habits and you just ejaculate immediately, and then you feel like you failed, so maybe you just give up and go back to your old ways. And so for me, it's more about changing sexual habits and starting new sexual habits that are more balanced, habits that nurture us and help us grow rather than deplete us. Because sex is a powerful thing. Sexual energy is incredible, and it's in our nature. We are sexual beings. We can't just suppress that desire, that drive. And when you do that, it's like you have a beach ball and you're holding it under the water. The moment you slip, that ball's just gonna pop right back up. And you see this all the time. People have these erratic sexual behaviors. I mean, we could look at the Catholic Church for an example. What happens when you try to completely suppress the sex drive. So for me, that's not a very good approach to the whole thing. There are ways to work with your sexual energy, to have sex, and to not ejaculate. As a man, we can draw the energy of the semen, the aroused energy, through the body. I mean, how do you feel when you're aroused, when you're having sex? How do you feel? You feel there's this energy shift in your body. You're feeling aroused, you're feeling stimulated, your heart's just pounding. It's incredible the change that happens when you're aroused. So that's an incredible amount of energy. And versus once you ejaculate, the energy is just gone. You might be feeling drained, you might fall asleep. So what happens there? There's this incredible buildup of energy, and then if you ejaculate, it's just gone. So if you can harness that energy without ejaculating, then you're building tremendous power, and you can use this power in your life, in whatever it is you're doing, your creative pursuits, your work, whatever, you can tap into that energy. So sexual energy is a powerful thing to be working with, and I don't think it's a good idea just to try to suppress it completely. I do feel, however, it's important to preserve our sexual energy, to preserve our semen and not ejaculate all the time. I think it's great to practice semen retention, and I've been practicing this for several years, and the benefits have been amazing. You definitely have more confidence and attract women a lot easier and these sorts of things, but I think overall it just makes you a more balanced, healthy, happy person. And so I think overall where this is all coming from is men in this age, we're tired of, we've kind of been conditioned to believe that it's natural for us to be looking at porn and masturbating and ejaculating all the time, and whereas it's a very big problem. So I think people are just tired of that. They're tired of that, and they're looking for something new. They're to not, be drained every day by these habits. So people are looking for something new, and I think that's what this whole NoFap thing is kind of coming from. But I feel that there is a deeper, more balanced path even, and that is conscious sexuality and semen retention. You once again, you can't just ignore your sex drive, but you can transmute it. You can work with this energy and heal yourself with this energy and connect with your partner in deeper and more beautiful ways. And it's really powerful work to be doing. So I think the key here is changing your sexual habits. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But going into the mindset of, okay, I want to make some changes. I want to work with my sexuality, and instead of just starting on this new path of, okay, I'm done with masturbating, just not going to do that. I don't think that that's a sustainable approach. I think it's one that you may just be setting yourself up for failure. So when you go into it with the mindset of, I want to work with this, how can I work with this energy to improve myself? How can I change my sexual habits? And this goes into many deep levels of our conditioning, our upbringing, and it takes some time to work these things out, but it can be done through meditation, through sexual kung fu practices, of course, which I teach, and you can have all the sex you want while still having all the benefits of semen retention, and it's a win-win situation, really. So once again, I think having clear intentions as to why you're doing it and what you really want to accomplish is the key to being successful with it, and accepting the fact that once in a while you may ejaculate. It's okay. You're not going to die. But you want to avoid it, of course. But don't feel guilty about it, because then you're just associating the sexual act with this guilt and this feeling of failure, and that is not a healthy thing to be ingraining into yourself. So I hope this helps you in some way and gives you a bit of a different perspective on the whole NoFap movement and semen retention and conscious sexuality. So please subscribe. I've got lots of other videos about semen retention and practices. So thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.